Good morning. It's very early on Monday, May 17, 2021. However, I'm going to mention something briefly and then I'm going to continue. In early part of last year, I sent a public comment in to the CFTC regarding a public comment period they had. And the day that I sent that public comment in, something happened that had not happened before. I believe what happened was somebody coined that public comment. I saw it. I saw what appeared to be the visage of a young girl that actually looked a lot like I looked when I was a young girl. Very young, maybe third, fourth grade. But then there was a background where there were a bunch of elder men. I could recognize the visages of those elder men. They were Texans, specific Texans. My understanding was that whatever was happening was something having to do with a kind of commercial arrangement that was supposed to use that account associated with what appeared to be a young, light skinned, white girl with blue eyes and blonde hair as part of a sort of center, a nucleus where orbiting around her, expecting to be availed of the advantages of whatever was transpiring, were elder men. And I understood that this was specifically connected to some scheme associated with the Texas retirement system. I spent 45 minutes in the most excruciating pain I've ever been in my life. And I heard the transactional stream that was going on for those 45 minutes. This has been panning out ever since. This happened around the time that the senator from Texas proposed a bill at the federal level associated with allegedly honoring members of the military that had served in the Middle East in connection with the death of a man who was identified as being a flag officer from Iran who was killed in Iraq. My understanding since then is two things. One, that bill was not about honoring members of the military. That bill was about providing a means by which individuals alleging that they are the civilian leadership in charge of the military to lean on the children of members of the military in order to advantage themselves and their campaign contributors. B, that there is some process ongoing where the senior senator of Texas leans on the junior senator of Texas and nobody says anything about the implications. My contention is that a great deal of what ends up being defrauded out of people in Texas and elsewhere via alleged association with Senator Ted Cruz is actually in many ways connected to pre-existing deals that were cut in connection with Senator John Cornyn. But there is some process going on congressionally or in the level of the Senate where the senior, when he takes a hit, gets to lean on the junior. And the junior's got to cover him at least until the senior gets out and somebody else comes in as the junior for him to lean on. The point of the matter is, it's not my debt. It's not your debt. They were the ones that set this up. And it's very disappointing that 35 years have gone by now that I understand, since I was enlisted as a minor child, to bear responsibility for obligations associated with military pensions that in the end don't end up actually even serving the needs of America's active duty or veterans. What it ends up doing is providing a means by which active duty military and veterans can be enticed or extorted into covering up for organized crime. it is very disturbing as well that a great deal of this has been allowed to be transpired through the emergence and proliferation of the crypto economy, what it really is, and what its origins actually are, and that the Affordable Care Act marketplace and the alleged mental health assistance that it provided to others, including members of the military, has been a primary means through which veterans and or wounded active duty military have been defrauded and have also been used in expropriation of personal property, including connected to the tactical or other skills they acquired as part of the military, so that it can be used in illegal contract bidding that goes into election campaign activities associated with members of public office. These activities seem to take priority over whatever it is they're supposed to actually be doing as public officers, as people that are supposed to be in charge of the government, that are supposed to be providing for the people. This wanton selfishness has been allowed to proliferate for too long. That illegal coinage scheme that got set up at the beginning of 2020 has disastrous consequences that have been allowed to proliferate to this day. Not only that, but that specific scenario, including the fintech associated with it, and including the specific account features, has shown up now in connection with an announcement of a ruble auction from the Central Bank of Russia. And just last night, I believe, it's connected to an announcement about a joint stock issue regulatory entity through the Central Bank of Russia. Why is the Texas retirement system and its illegal coinage scheme, including in association with the children of members of the military or veterans of the American military, showing up in connection with account activity running through the Central Bank of Russia at this time? If, as I allege, the Intel Committee of the United States, including the Senate Intelligence Committee, by the way, not the House, decided they were going to take accounts, including biometric accounts associated with people from the countries of the former Soviet Union, including Russia, including the Ukraine, including Belarus, and they were going to set up their own accounts and or set up accounts for other members of the Senate using the accounts that were sanctioned or that were shut off from Russia and the Ukraine and Belarus and other countries, and intentionally run black ops and covert ops trying to frame their own constituents, then they have gone way beyond anything that can be considered legitimate. I'm just one person on one hand, but I'm actually not. I've been connected to entire communities of people. That was all intentionally dispossessed of me and attempted for recalibration and reascribement to people that would have identified and positioned themselves as enemies of those states. They did this. They determined, they decided, and they engaged in these manners. It's unacceptable. It has to stop today.